Loneliness is like standing in the middle of a crowded street, surrounded by thousands of people, yet feeling invisible. It is like being in a room full of laughter, but still feeling that hollow ache inside your chest that no smile, no conversation, and no hug can fill. Loneliness is heavy, like carrying an invisible weight that no one else can see. It whispers in your ear that something is missing, that you are not complete, that somehow you are on the outside looking in. And when that emptiness grows louder, you try to drown it by scrolling endlessly on your phone, hanging out with people who don't truly understand you, or keeping yourself busy so you don't have to face that ache within. But the truth is, no matter how much you try to escape it, loneliness stays until you understand what it really is. Being alone is something entirely different. Being alone is like watching the sunrise by yourself and realizing the world is breathtaking even without anyone beside you. It is sitting in silence and discovering that silence itself has its own music. It is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is not sadness, it is peace. But many people confuse the two, and because of this confusion, they fear being alone as if it is a curse. They run from solitude, thinking it is the same as loneliness, but solitude is a blessing in disguise. You may wonder why you feel so lonely these days. Maybe you had a falling out with close friends. Maybe you feel disconnected from family, or you have simply grown in a different direction than the people around you. It is not that you don't love them anymore. It is just that something inside you no longer fits into the same space as it used to. You may find yourself saying, "I don't belong here anymore," without even knowing where here is. And that thought alone can make you feel more lost. But listen carefully, you are not truly lost. What you are feeling is your soul's way of pulling you toward yourself. When great journeys begin, they rarely begin with a crowd. They begin in silence. They begin when you are alone, facing yourself without distraction. Think of every hero's story you have ever heard. Before they discovered their greatness, there was a period of isolation. Buddha sat under a tree alone for days until enlightenment came. Jesus went into the wilderness for 40 days in solitude. Prophets, philosophers, and seekers throughout history have stepped away from the noise of the world to meet themselves. And here you are, being given the same invitation. Yes, it takes courage to be alone. Many people never gather that courage. They spend their whole lives chasing crowds, attention, validation, and distractions, never realizing that all along, the answers they were searching for were inside them. That is why so many people live shallow lives, because they never had the strength to face the depth of their own soul. But you are not one of them. You would not even be listening to this right now if you were. Somewhere inside you, you know that solitude is your doorway to transformation. Of course, it is easy to resist it. Most of us do. We pick up our phones when silence feels too heavy. We surround ourselves with people even when they drain us. We fill every gap in our lives with noise. But all that noise only buries the truth deeper. Being alone is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Time spent with yourself is not wasted time. It is the most sacred investment you can ever make. If you are willing, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the air entering and leaving your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Feel how alive you are in this very moment. Thoughts will come, maybe memories of the past, maybe worries about the future. Do not fight them. Do not judge them. Just watch them pass by like clouds in the sky. Behind those clouds, there is always a clear sky. Behind your thoughts, there is always your true self, waiting for you to return. Stay with your breath. Feel how each inhale gives you life, and each exhale takes away your stress. This is not just breathing. This is meeting yourself. At first, your mind may resist. It will say, "This is boring. This is pointless. This is uncomfortable." But that is only because your mind has been addicted to noise for so long. If you stay, if you persist, a shift will happen. Slowly, the sadness begins to melt. The heaviness begins to lift. Meditation turns emptiness into presence. It turns loneliness into inner peace. What once felt like a dark void begins to glow with light. And in that light, You realize you were never truly alone. You always had yourself. And when you start enjoying your own company, everything changes. Suddenly, you do not chase after people who do not value you. You do not beg for attention. You do not mold yourself to fit into places that do not align with you. Instead, you begin to walk with a quiet power because you finally realize that everything you were searching for outside was already within you. You become lighter, freer, happier, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Think about it. How many times have you given your energy to people who did not deserve it? Maybe you have been the one who always says yes, who always gives, who always carries the burdens of others while your own heart goes unnoticed. Maybe you've been drained by toxic friends, manipulative partners, or even family members who only take and never give. And every time, you felt more and more empty until one day you wondered if maybe something was wrong with you. But nothing was wrong with you. You were just giving your sacred energy away. Being alone gives you the chance to take it back, to reclaim what is yours, to stop letting people use your kindness as their fuel, to say, no more. My energy is mine. And when you reclaim it, you become unstoppable. You begin to realize that you do not need anyone else to complete you, to validate you, or to make you worthy. You're already whole. You're already enough. Yes, this path is not easy. Solitude often forces you to face the wounds you've been running from. Old traumas may resurface. Painful memories may come back. The silence may feel too loud. But remember this, healing always begins with discomfort. Growth always begins with breaking old patterns. And transformation always begins with being alone. You might not see it now, but this period of solitude is a gift. The universe has pulled you away from certain people, places, and situations not to punish you, but to protect you. It is preparing you for the next chapter of your life. Think about it. If you stayed in the same toxic circles, if you never broke free from the noise, how could you ever become who you were truly meant to be? This is your preparation. This is your rebirth. And as you go deeper into yourself, you begin to see the difference between your ego and your true self. The ego is loud, demanding, always needing recognition and approval. But the true self is quiet, peaceful, complete. When the ego fades, you remain, not in weakness, but in freedom. This is what seekers call the supreme self. It is the part of you untouched by society, family, or upbringing. It is the part of you that existed before you were given a name, a role, a label. It is the part of you that will remain long after all else fades away. When you connect with this supreme self, your entire perspective changes. Suddenly, things that once mattered, jealousy, anger, greed, the need to prove yourself, lose their power. You no longer feel threatened by others because you know who you are. You no longer crave constant validation because you validate yourself. You no longer fear solitude because solitude has become your sanctuary. And the beauty is when you're complete within yourself, your relationships with others also change. You no longer cling. You no longer beg. You no longer fear losing people. Instead, you love freely without attachment because you know love does not come from them. It flows through you. You become more caring, more peaceful, more kind, not because you want something in return, but because love has become your natural state. It is like flowers blooming without asking who will see them. It is like music playing even if no one is listening. That is the kind of beauty solitude brings. But here is the secret most people do not understand. You cannot truly love others until you have learned to love yourself in solitude. You cannot give what you do not have. And once you find peace in your own company, you bring that peace into every relationship, every conversation, every space you walk into. You stop being someone who drains others or gets drained by them. Instead, you become someone who uplifts, who inspires, who radiates strength. So the next time you feel lonely, stop and ask yourself, is this loneliness or is this solitude? Am I truly empty? Or am I being invited to discover my fullness? What if the season of being alone is not a curse, but a blessing? What if this is not the end of your story, but the beginning of the most powerful chapter yet? Because the truth is, everything you've been through, the pain, the silence, the nights when you cried alone, the days when you felt invisible, it has all been shaping you. Every tear, every ache, every moment of solitude has been polishing you like a diamond in the dark. You are not being broken. You are being prepared. So do not run from being alone. Embrace it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Because one day, you will look back and realize that solitude was the place where you met your true self. And your true self is the greatest companion you will ever have. And when that happens, you will discover something powerful. You are never truly alone. You are always surrounded by life, by the universe, by love itself. You just needed the silence to hear it. If you're still watching, leave your thoughts in the comments. Share what being alone means to you, because your story might help someone else who is struggling right now. And if this message touched you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to this channel so we can continue this journey together.